Greetings. In this video, I'll be playing around with an MSI Pro MP161 E2 portable monitor. Since I've been regularly working with my laptop away from my home office, which is actually halfway around the world right now, I've been missing my multi-monitor setup I have there. So I thought I'd give a portable screen a try out. First, my daughter-in-law has a espresso portable screen. I tried that out, and that actually worked pretty well. Although it was kind of heavy and kind of thick, and especially with the mount for it, and it was a little tough to fit it into my backpack with my laptop. So I decided I'd try something a little smaller, a little thinner, hence the MSI portable screen. Interestingly, the espresso one, it goes for $500 or $600 US. Most places I looked. The MSI one I chose, not a lot of people use this one. It's not on anybody's top 10 list, but it runs about $100 US, and I think it's doing the job. We'll talk about it anyways. So just to sort of set expectations here, I am not planning on gaming on a secondary or remote or portable screen. I'm not planning on doing high resolution graphics or anything like that. I just want to, well, my main purpose is when I'm using programs like LibreOffice Impress or Kdenlive, and I do a full-size preview, I want it on a second screen so I don't have to flip through windows to get back to the actual application window. That's really the main reason I want it and why I like having multiple screens. Anyways, we're going to give it a test out. We're going to see how it works. So let's get to it. Okay, so again, I don't have any super high usage cases for this. I just need a 1920 by 1080p, 16:9 60 hertz display is what I basically need. Both the espresso, which again belongs to my daughter-in-law, is fairly expensive, and the MSI, which is a lot cheaper, have that. So right in the same ballpark. The espresso does have a touchscreen, whereas the MSI doesn't, but I'm not using a touchscreen, so that's not a feature I need. The espresso is higher net rating, is slightly brighter. Well, it's supposed to be, but comparing them side by side, they didn't look that much different. The espresso uses USB-C. The MSI also uses USB-C. In fact, it's got 2 USB-C ports. It's also got a mini HDMI port on it. I didn't notice, I have to go back and look at the espresso, but I didn't notice any control buttons on it or anything way of adjusting it. The MSI has a power button and has up-down switch, and depending, you can hold long press, short press, whatever, you can toggle through several setup menus. The other thing I noticed when I was using the espresso outside, it has a lot of reflective on it, and either with the sun or with a direct light source, if it's right behind you, it really makes it hard to read the screen. It's very reflective surface. I didn't seem to have that problem with the cheaper MSI. It's got more of a matte finish. They both were visible outside when they weren't in direct sunlight, and inside, which is where I normally use them. I generally don't set up outside, at least not with a dual display system. So also the MSI, again, at around $100 US. If I like it, great. If I don't like it, I can switch to something else. It's not really a big loss. So let's get to it, unboxing and testing and all that other fun stuff, and we'll see on the other side. So first thing, this is the espresso portable monitor here. The one I use to compare it against. It's the one they had, so it's a little bit different than the one I got. It's definitely a lot more expensive, but that's neither here nor there. Its performances seem to be equivalent, at least for what I'm using them for. This will do a higher resolution. It has a touch screen. Again, these are features I'm not really after at the moment. So our MSI monitor, looking at its specifications, we've got panel size 15.6 inches, 1920 by 1080 at 60 hertz, 16:9 resolution. I say the Brightness nits are kind of low, but it works fine. Contrast is okay. For I/O, we've got one mini HDMI and two USB-C. Although I guess technically you wouldn't use both those for, well, I guess you could if you're daisy chaining or USB-C, but that's something I'm not really covering here. Viewing angle, 170 degrees, your standard 16 million colors, anti-glare, input voltage. Again, this comes from the USB-C. You got somewhat less amperage on the output if you're daisy chaining, but that's to be expected. Weight, 0.75 kilograms or 1.6 pounds. 14.25 inches by 9.2 inches and 3/4 of an inch thick. Those are the basic specifications. Like I say, this thing packs nicely. Let's go ahead and move on to the unboxing. So I've already pulled the sticky tape off the box. Let's go ahead and open it. And we've got this nice little bag with the monitor inside it, an instruction book, and a couple of cables. And that's pretty much it for what's in the box. So the manual, it's kind of funny. It doesn't look like it's the US manual that's in here, but it shows how to use the built-in kickstand and some of the ports and other functions. I had to go ahead and actually download the English version online. This is a USB-C cable to USB-C. It's a right angle. I've been using the right angle to plug into the monitor itself. And then we've got the HDMI cable. It's a mini to a full-size HDMI. Again, it's got a right angle on the monitor side. And then we've got this case with the monitor inside of it, which is kind of a nice feature to have. And this is the MSI monitor itself. Okay. So here's the full set of items that come with it: the monitor, the case, the USB cable, and the HDMI cable. So all our controls are on one side of the monitor. If you're looking at it head on, it'll be on the right side. And we've got at the bottom a HDMI port. Then above that, we've got two USB-C ports. I think this thing above that's a speaker grill. And then we've got some controls up here at the top. On the back of the monitor, we have a built-in kickstand, but it also has a mount point, which you can mount this to tripods or anything else. It's same size as it's standard size, so it'll screw into your camera, it'll screw into this monitor. So yeah, if you want to mount it more permanently at a different position, you can use a tripod or something like that. You can fold it out and it pivots 360 degrees, and it can hold the monitor up either horizontal mode or vertical mode. Either or is fine. But it actually works pretty good and it seems okay. I mean, it's not super rugged, but as long as you're not really abusing it, it should work fine. In the bag, it's just a bag. It's got some foam protection for the monitor, so it's nice that it comes with it. And our two cables. I would like these cables to be a little longer, but they work the way they are, so I'm fine with them. I do notice USB-C cable doesn't appear to be a standard USB-C cable. I don't know what's different about it. I may have to do a pin-to-pin check on it one of these days, because I tried a regular USB cable and it doesn't work with the monitor. So I'm guessing some extra pins are hooked up for the video and audio signals. Okay, your basic setup here for looking at it from the right side, I've got the right angle USB-C plug plugged in, and then that's hooked up to my computer to generate or to activate the display. The monitor comes on right when you plug it in. You can turn it off with the power switch at the top of this side. You could actually plug this into your phone and get a display of your phone. The only thing there is you're going to need a separate power source because your phone will not deliver the required power to run the monitor over its USB-C connection. So you'd have to plug the other USB-C into a wall charger or a power bank or something like that if you're hooking your phone up. If you've just got a computer and it's plugged in, that's fine. I could see using a separate power supply if you're running your computer on batteries, if it's a laptop and you're trying to conserve energy. I mean, this is basically it hooked up to my computer. It's got the dual screen, have different wallpaper on each screen. You can actually do different settings on each screen too. We'll look into that a little bit later. This is Linux that I'm running here. But as you can see, the screen's fully visible. So now if you want to hook up HDMI, then you can see the bottom connector here is HDMI, and then I've got a USB connected to deliver, or USB-C connected to deliver power to the monitor because you can't run power over the HDMI cable. Technically, I could plug this USB-C back into my computer, but doing it right here, as you can see, I'm running it with a power bank, power the monitor. And this is sort of the same thing you'd have to do if you were running it off your phone too. And here it is set up vertically. You can set it up vertically, horizontally, upside down, left, right. Well, it depends on what you've got for display settings on your computer. And like I say, I'm using this is KDE Plasma on Linux, Fedora specifically. So let's take a look at this is the screen setup in Fedora here. And you can see you've got your two monitors up there, your main one and your secondary one or your external one. You can select your monitor here, various settings you can set, including which way it's rotated. It does every 90 degrees. Frequency, all that sort of stuff. We can identify the monitor and we get a display here of what the actual which monitor we're looking at. In this case, you can see if you look at the blue highlight, this is the monitor. So if we look at our other monitor, this is the external monitor here. That other one was a laptop monitor. And interestingly, here in Plasma, you can actually change the wallpaper separately on both monitors. So that's kind of a cool feature. I've done running multiple monitors under Windows. I was only had one wallpaper was on all the monitors. With the KDE Plasma, you can put different wallpaper on different monitors. Okay. All right. I've been using the portable monitor for about 2 weeks now, and I've got a few points I'd like to discuss. So first off, it works for the job I intended it for, and it works well. It certainly improves the workflow. It's claimed by the advertising that it has speakers. I didn't really see anything referencing that in the manual, and I haven't really checked those yet, but looking at the size, I can't expect them to be anything but tinny. Again, not using it for gaming. Don't think I really need the speakers, but I guess that's something I should probably also check it with a cell phone too. So there's a few functions I haven't checked yet, but then again, it's not the purpose I got it for. So the display is fairly decent, 1920 by 1080 at 60 hertz. I do like the matte finish on the screen. It's great for reflected light or diffusing reflected light, so it doesn't really bother me that much. when it's shining directly into the monitor. It does have a fairly wide viewing angle. 170 degrees is what's advertised, but yeah, it's definitely a wide viewing angle, so that's useful for my case. Some people might not like it, but it works good for me. The built-in kickstand's fairly nice. I do question its overall durability in the long term, but we'll see how that goes, as I'm going to have a chance to travel with this portable screen via car and airplane, so we'll see how it holds up. I do also like that it has a 1/4 mounting hole in the back, which is a pretty much standard for most tripods, camera mounts, things like that. It's not really heavy enough to need a full VESA mount, so it is nice to be able to mount it to something. Haven't really used it yet, other than I screwed the adapter in there to make sure it fits. So this portable display can be run from your computer with a single USB-C cable, which is going to be my primary way of using it. It can also be run with an HDMI cable. However, power transmission over HDMI is not supported, so you'll need a separate USB-C cable to provide power. And this could be from your computer, from a power brick, from an adapter plugged into the wall. For smaller devices like cell phones, I would recommend, even if you're using USB-C, which does support power, you use a second USB-C to a brick or an adapter, as the cell phones are not going to provide, I don't think they're going to provide sufficient power. If they do, it's going to kill their battery pretty quickly. Something I'll have to test out at a later date, but that's my suspicion right now. So if I had to gripe about anything, it'd be the case construction. It's plastic. It's okay. It's not super rigid, but then again, it's not super flexible either. So it's okay. Like I say, we'll see how it stands up for travel in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, that would be one. I could use a more sturdy case. But for my uses, I think it'll be fine. Like I say, if I'm not trying to use it in weird locations or something, I mean, just setting it on the desk, it should be fine. Just whether it survives travel, okay. So overall, for the purposes I intended, I'm satisfied with this monitor. I'm going to continue using it. As I said, it does really improve workflow, so I think it was a good purchase. I could have gotten a more expensive one, but they would have features like higher resolution or touchscreen or other things I'm not really going to use. And again, like I said, the only real thing I could see about this is a better case material, but beyond that, I mean, it's working fine and it's doing what I intended it to do, so thumbs up. Anyway, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you all again next time around.